Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee with KPP Live, the show that's dedicated to providing you with advice for life so that you can live richly and work towards the life that you've earned. My name's Kyle Roy. I'm a financial advisor with Kentucky Planning Partners, and I'm glad to be joined here with Todd Lampkin, who is a certified senior advisor that recently opened up a Care Patrol branch here in Louisville. And I've been thinking about, I told Todd before the show, I've been thinking about him really all weekend long, and he looked at me as like, man, that's kind of that's kind of weird. But the reality is the more I think about what you do, Todd, and what Care Patrol is, the more excited I've gotten to share your services with our audience because in this show, we're not going to talk about long-term care and how to fund it. What we're going to talk about and what Todd's organization does is we're going to talk about how he helps families create relationships with he and his firm, and then ultimately find out the best senior care facility for mom and dad or grandpa and grandma as they move into a stage of their life where they need help. So I'm just going to really ask you, Todd, a whole bunch of questions about Care Patrol, what you do, because I think that this show is going to be for anybody that is struggling with a decision on how to help mom and dad live a fulfilled life for the last several decades, even if they need help doing so. So Todd, welcome. Yeah. Thank you for coming. And so tell the world a little bit about you and what you do.
Hey, thanks, Kyle. I appreciate it. My name is Todd Lampkin, certified senior advisor with Care Patrol. My wife and I actually purchased a franchise last year, and we're excited to bring it to Louisville and Southern Indiana. And really our mission is to provide safer senior living options and help families navigate through the different options that are available to them, whether it's in-home, whether it's independent living, assisted living, personal care, or even memory care, helping families navigate what's appropriate, what's affordable, and what's a great location for them.
And so Care Patrol has been around for about 15 years now, so this is a business model that's existed for a time. And you and your wife just purchased the local franchise in Louisville, right?
Absolutely. So there's about 150 franchise owners across the country,
which is important.
We're excited to be part of them because as we were talking about earlier, a lot of families, the kids have moved away, or the parents have moved to Florida, or there's different things that have taken place, and we can refer to other owners to help them regardless of where they're at in the country. So yes, we do business here locally and work with families, but we can also work with them outside of Louisville as well.
Yeah, it's really great. So here's what I was thinking over the weekend, and we talked a little bit about this.
Is it scary?
No, it's not. It's not scary. But really, it might be for many people, because I was thinking about what most families go through as their senior family members begin showing signs of their age. So there are about 10 activities of daily living. And as our parents or our grandparents start aging and losing their ability to do those ADLs, the only context that I hear the word home used in a negative connotation is when we talk about having to put mom in a home or dad in a home, right? And I thought about that, and it's something that had never really crossed my mind, in that your home is supposed to be the place that you feel most comfortable, that you feel most safe.
Right.
And this idea of having to put mom or dad in a home is really the only place that it's looked down upon. And that really is a sad situation. And I can imagine that there are families out there that struggle with the decision, will do everything that they can to help their parents be comfortable. And what you do is effectively Care Patrol, and what you and your wife have done is you've created a method where you can take that burden, the guilt, the stress, the process of helping mom and dad be comfortable, and you guys build relationships with families to help place them into a proper home. So talk about that, right? Talk about the process that you have with Care Patrol and what differentiates you and how you can help families really just relieve that burden and help people live a fulfilled life.
Right.
Talk about a loaded question.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
It's really about allowing our seniors to remain independent. And whether that's being done in the home or whether that's being, in an assisted living environment, that is very important for, mental health more so than anything. But really, as I mentioned earlier, safer living options is really what we're concerned about. So we don't want mom or dad leaving the stove on and potentially burning the house down, or getting in and out of the shower and slipping and falling. Mm-hmm. Falls are a huge risk to seniors, and those are things that we want to help prevent and make sure that they're safe in the current environment that they're in, whether that's at home or in assisted living. The other side of it is from a family perspective. A lot of individuals take on a new role of a caregiver where that's not their normal day job. Mm-hmm. Their normal day job is, maybe in here doing the TV show, right? But all of a sudden, mom or dad needs help at home. They've got to step away from work because they got to make sure mom or dad's okay.
That's right.
Takes a toll on individuals. Oftentimes, they can do it for a short period of time, but at the end, it's very difficult. And that's where we want to be able to help the family say, hey, here are what your options are to give you your quality of life. You want to spend time with your kids? Fantastic. I understand that.
But you also want mom and dad to be safe and healthy and happy, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So we're going to show you ways that you can bridge that gap and make sure that mom and dad are okay, even when you're at the ball game.
Yeah, and you gave the example when we were talking about what you often see are situations where elderly family members can't execute maybe 2 or 3 of the activities of daily living. Maybe they have a hard time getting up in the morning. Maybe they forget to take their medication. And what happens is even though there are a couple important yet relatively minor ADLs that they can't do, that a lot of family members just don't know. Like for me personally, I wouldn't know what to do if my parents needed that help. My grandmother just passed away, and if it weren't for my aunt and my mother taking care of her every day, she wouldn't have had quality of life at all. But a lot of people get overwhelmed, and the idea is that the only option that we have for mom and dad is to put them in a nursing home. And I love the stories that you tell about how you're able to come in and recognize that, okay, well, with only these 2 activities that mom or dad can't perform, they don't need a nursing home. They could use some other type of care that you'll be able to help them find. So walk through a typical case like that, or a success story, perhaps.
Yeah. So we'll just talk a little bit about what we do with the family when we get introduced.
Yeah.
So the first thing we typically talk to them about is, hey, tell me what's going on. Tell me what the last, 3 or 4 years looked like. To help us get a snapshot of, was there a decline? Why was there a decline? What took place? Then we're going to take a look at some financials. So what does the current income look like? What do assets look like? And these are questions not to probe into someone's life, but more to be able to help and figure out what are your options. Then we're going to look at the clinicals. So what are some of the clinical diagnoses that an individual may have? And then we're going to take a look at what are the family dynamics here. So where do the kids live? Where do the grandkids live? Where do the parents live? Where do they want to be? We always want to include the parents or the seniors if they are able to make that decision or assist in that decision. And so we take those 3 things into consideration in determining what are your options based on what you want to do, what your parents want to do, and we can make some recommendations with the resources that we have. That's one of the things that we've done, is obviously built a big umbrella of options that people have, and we're able to narrow those down from 100 to here's 3 or 4.
Yeah,
that meet exactly what you're looking for and exactly what you want to accomplish.
And so that umbrella of resources, just to make sure I'm clear and the audience is clear, those are relationships that you've built with long-term care facilities or in-home care companies and nursing homes, right? So effectively what Todd and his wife and Care Patrol does is they build relationships with these facilities in their local regions. And like Todd said, there are 150 owners of Care Patrol across the country. It's a franchise model.
Correct.
So Todd and his wife own the Louisville franchise, but it's a national organization. So if mom and dad are in Massachusetts, my family's in Massachusetts, right? But I'm here in Louisville. We did, right? And I could still call Todd and connect him with people in Massachusetts with Care Patrol that could help my family there.
That's correct.
Right? And so, but with those relationships, and this is what I think is absolutely fascinating, with those relationships that you have, you work for the clients. You work for the people you're serving. You don't work for these facilities.
That's correct.
And your pay model, which I think is awesome, the families don't pay you.
Correct.
It's the facilities that you place the family with that actually pay you, right?
That's correct.
So every facility is motivated to help make sure you and the Care Patrol people understand what they do. They want to put their best foot forward because it's a very competitive market. And what you're able to do is take the burden of those hundreds of different types of facilities and care models, filter it down for these families who don't have any idea how to navigate these waters. You navigate it for them, place mom and dad in the most appropriate place where that they can be happy, have community, get the care they need, and it's no money out of pocket for the families. Did I just filter it down?
That's fair.
Well enough? All right, all right.
Yeah.
So, but I think that business model is beautiful, and so many people are going to be intimidated by this process. It's scary. It's not a fun process, and I just love what you guys do. So thank you for doing it, and I just think it's fabulous. You're going to absolutely crush it, man.
You know, a lot of families are afraid to make that call, and they really only have to make one call to us. They don't have to make 15 calls to 15 different communities to try and filter it down. They can make one phone call.
So they don't have to travel to the facilities to test each one.
Yeah, so and that's another layer of what we do. So we'll actually pick the family up, take them on the tours to these facilities, and then take them back home.
Wow.
So we're covering them from A to Z, from start to finish of this progression of, aging.
Yeah, that's incredible. So what does so you just started in November, right? Or you just bought the franchise. So it's amazing because Todd, I want to talk a little bit about your why you got into this, but I just love, in this show we interview entrepreneurs. Todd and his wife bought this franchise in November of last year at the height of the pandemic. So if that doesn't tell you a little bit about his conviction and his belief in himself, and I don't know what will. So tell us how you got into this. How did you find this business?
Yeah, so I spent 15 years in the corporate world. Had a great time. Just really had a passion to do something where I was able to help people. Didn't know what that was. I worked with a gentleman, Darren Levitt, and he kind of led me down this path. And when we did all these assessments about likes and dislikes, Myers-Briggs and all those, it started to come out that, I needed a business model that I could help people. And I also wanted to be an entrepreneur. So how was I going to be able to do that? And really, just landed with Care Patrol. It really hit home with some of the past that I've had with family members of my own, and sitting there going, what are we going to do? We cannot leave him at home because the cops can't come every night at 1:30 in the morning.
And this was
within my family.
Okay, yeah, got it.
So it was like, what are we going to do? And if there was a resource that I knew I could have called, like Care Patrol, I would have picked up the phone immediately and said, hey, what are our options? Where can we go? And that's really, what drove me to say, yes, this is it. It's a free service to the community. and it's a win-win for every party involved.
Yeah, I just can't. I just know, especially because I was a little bit shocked when we were talking to you, and this is nothing against the long-term care industry, but it's incredible how we were talking in that there is little done by way of the facilities that will filter through the applicants to make sure that the applicant is the right fit for the facility. Because let's face it, long-term care facilities, nursing homes, you name it, they need tenants, right? That's how they get their revenue. So I can imagine that, yeah, I'm sure there's some filtering process, but if a long-term care facility has an applicant, the chances are they're going to take them regardless of the level of care they need. Is that a fair way to say it?
That's somewhat fair. Yeah.
Yeah. So in a nursing home. So let's talk about the difference between nursing home and, let's say, retirement communities, right? A nursing home is like a hospital. A nursing home is for somebody that cannot doesn't have any ADLs that they can perform, perhaps even down to swallowing their medication. That is where a nursing home is really for. Whereas what you're able to do is take somebody that their family may think needs to go to a nursing home, interview them, and say, you know what, no, there is a facility that does have skilled nursing care 24/7 that will still give mom or dad a quality of life. So instead of just going right to that nursing home that would probably take mom or dad, you're able to filter through and really diagnose. You're not doctors, not diagnose is the right word, but really help match the person with the facility. And it just shocked me that there weren't more organizations, or that the industry in general didn't do as well as they probably could or should.
Right. And Kentucky made it confusing. When you look at the different levels of care, you have, really starting at the retirement home, independent living. You've got assisted living. And then you've got care levels within assisted living. So depending upon what you need, do you need medication administration or medication management? Do you need help with bathing, dressing? There's care levels within assisted living. Then there's also personal care in Kentucky. Okay. And then you have your skilled nursing or your long-term care settings. So you've got these different layers that someone on the outside or someone who hasn't been through it before doesn't know. Mm-hmm. They don't understand the different levels. So you may be thinking that, dad can't remember to how to heat up his meal in the microwave.
He's got to go
That's
to a
a big
home.
problem for you. Well, the reality is, what other things can he do? Does he like to sit and play cards? Does he like to go outside? Like, what does he enjoy doing? And once we start drilling down a little bit, it's like, oftentimes we're able to say, hey, look, there's other options for you. And, the nursing home right now is probably not an option for him. And the worst thing that could happen to you is you go to the nursing home and they decline him. And so we really want to help families navigate the senior living space, and make sure that we can narrow it down and say, hey, you're going to be able to, you can get into this type of environment, this type of environment. Now the communities always have the last say,
sure,
but we're going to get them 9 times out of 10, unless there's something that's not showing up, we're going to get them to the right facility.
And would you even be able to bring it down to a level where it's saying, okay, if the family was looking at this one facility that was, say, $5,000 a month, that's a mile and a half away, you guys have the ability to say, well, if you're willing to go about 5 miles or 10 miles away, there's one that's similar or even better for $3,500 a month, right? So you even have the knowledge to be able to compare cost, services, quality, and things like that. So these places are competing for your business, right? So you're able to find the most competitive rates, so to speak, as well, right?
Right, and all of these buildings right now, I mean, they're all competitive. They're all willing to help and work with families, and most of the people that you find in this industry are willing to help.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, they represent the one community, and so we're able to represent all of them essentially, and filter that down, and so that's where a family. I mean, we make it super easy. I mean, we're just like say, push the easy button.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're doing.
I love it. Well, and it really is, Todd. It's one of those companies. And again, this is what I was thinking about over the week. It's one of those companies that
You really were thinking about it.
I was, man. I'm telling you, it's one of those companies. It's free to the public. You get paid by the facilities. If anybody out there is struggling with this decision, I've been fortunate to I have not been put in this position, but I know friends, loved ones that have, and I know how difficult it is. There's this feeling of guilt that you have. You don't want to put mom or dad in a home, right? It's not something anybody wants to do. But what you have done is, and I don't know if this is being over dramatic, but what you have done is you've reestablished the word home and helped associate it with a positive experience for elder care and senior care. You can help those family members find a home that where they are comfortable, where they're able to flourish, and where they're able to live a fulfilled, happy life, as opposed to have it be an experience where the family's guilt-ridden and they feel like they just might have pawned mom or dad off because they were overwhelmed. And what you do really does help bring joy and peace to families. And if you don't recognize that, I hope I'm helping you, because it's really an incredible calling. I love the business model, and I just wish you all the success in the world. And I do have to say, KPP is not affiliated with Care Patrol in any way. We don't have any compensatory agreement. We don't get paid to refer anybody to you. But your business model is really aligned with KPP, and that we really do try to provide advice for life to help people live richly, right? And that's exactly what you do for people in this what could be most difficult part of their life.
Yeah, and one of the things that COVID has done is isolated a lot of our seniors. It is detrimental to their health and well-being, and we're seeing that all the time. And what these assisted living environments are able to do is give them that social interaction, eliminate the social isolation, and get them back interacting with folks of their age, folks with similar medical conditions. Get them, just get them active again. COVID has pushed everyone into their home for a very long time. No one wanted to move into a community. I get it. It wasn't a good time to do anything like that because no one could go see them.
Yeah.
And so it really was detrimental to them. And so getting them back out into the community and into a social environment has helped a lot of people.
That's a great point. And we talked about this yesterday. How many elderly people that have been home for a year, maybe their family members have missed out on those subtle cues that mom or dad may need help. And I think we said this yesterday. I'm sure there's going to be a tremendous pent-up demand for people that have struggled. Mental health is a real problem after COVID-19. But just the physical aspect of being home for a year. So if I would just encourage anybody, if you're finding yourself in a position where you just want a guide, you want somebody to talk to, you want a resource that you can call on, where you can have help with these conversations. That's what you do. That's what Care Patrol does. So how do people find you and your company?
Absolutely. So you can find us online, carepatrol.com, or you can also call 502-212-4440.
Okay. Do they ask for Todd?
They can ask for Todd.
All right.
Or you can follow us we're on Facebook. You can find us on there, or really those are the three ways.
That's great. And I got to say, your website is awesome. So when I was looking at their website over the weekend, it's great. There's a lot of information out there. And again, I can't reiterate it enough. Their business model, it's free to the public, right?
It is. Everyone knows someone that has been through this situation or is going through this situation. Everyone.
And I would say everyone is not prepared or has the time or the wherewithal to be able to navigate the long-term care industry as well as you can.
Correct.
And it's not just locally, it's a national web of resources that you have. So congratulations to you, and really I hope it comes across my sincerity of the more I thought about you and your wife and this company, the more I just thought, I can't believe everybody doesn't know about Care Patrol. I can't believe it's not a household name.
We're working on it.
And I think it will be. I really do. Is there anything else you'd like to close out with, share with the audience that...
No. I appreciate you having me on the show.
You're welcome.
It was a good time.
You're welcome.
Hopefully help the audience some.
Yeah, and I can't encourage everybody, if you do have a loved one, a friend, a family member, somebody that you know that's struggling with these decisions, please go to carepatrol.com. That's carepatrol.com. Give them a call and at least know that you've got somebody that will be an advocate for you and your family and help relieve that burden, help relieve the stress and potentially the guilt of making sure that your parents or your loved ones are able to thrive in the final decades potentially of their lives. So Todd, thank you, and on behalf of everybody here at KPP, we thank you for watching. As always, I'm your host, Kyle Roy, and if you have any questions about this or anything, if you'd like to come in for a financial consultation and make sure that when the time comes, you'll be able to give yourself the options to pay for long-term care and the facilities necessary to make sure you live richly and realize the life that you've earned. Give us a call at 502-394-0400. We're on the corner of Shelbyville Road and Hurstbourne Lane at the top of the Flash Cube building, the best view in Louisville. And as always, thank you for watching. We'll look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.